Dean Obadala Show, where comedy meets politics and all things in between.
And welcome back, Dean Obadala Show. We're live Tuesday, April 30th, the last day of April. Tomorrow's May 1st, folks. And in studio, just off the set of MSNBC, literally, she walked out of the TV, out of the car, into my life. She's left the TV. She's sitting in studio. Aisha Moodie-Mills, you know, our political strategist, 15 years of experience building political power for people of color, the LGBT community, and a fellow at the Kennedy School of Government, and she looks great. You were just on TV. She comes in usually like kind of dressed down, whatever. Now she's looking MSNBC good. It's not for me, I can assure you. That's for basic cable. She's looking good for basic cable, but on this show. No, nice to see you, Aisha.
Hi, Dean.
You were doing a great job. I could just read the closed caption of what you were saying. Because in our studios, I had mentioned all three, CNN, and Fox News are on in closed caption. So in commercials, I can watch people and read what they're saying.
Did it say Donald Trump's a dick? That's probably what
it just paraphrases.
It's like a thought
Aisha's
bubble.
Crushing Trump right now. And you're on with Susan Del Percio and my friend Yasmin. Yasmin is Middle Eastern. I like her. She's really nice.
Yeah.
So and Ayman Mohadin's on like 4 months maternity leave. He had a baby. She told me he's like 4 months. I'm like, that's not maternity leave. That's laid off. She said, nope. He got 4 months maternity leave. I'm like, I got to have a baby just for that.
Welcome to progressive America.
Oh, my God. So, Aisha, we just had a long discussion, and it's continuing on Twitter afterwards. It happened on Twitter before, after on Facebook, and on this show about Chuck and Nancy meeting Donald Trump today. And I don't say that dismissively, just shorthand. We know who they are, Chuck and Nancy, meeting with Donald Trump. Before I share my view, what is your view of that meeting?
So, here's the thing. We have a crisis right now happening in America, a crisis of leadership. The guy in the White House is, in my opinion, at this point, damn near a terrorist, okay? And I am really, really frustrated with the Democrats' lack of a damn backbone and willingness to hold his ass accountable. So to go and sit around and sip tea with him and pretend like you're going to come up with some negotiated agreement about a damn bridge feels hella trivial when literally lives are in the balance right now and our democracy is at risk. So Chuck and Nancy can sit around and sip tea and have photo ops all they want and walk around and claim that they won something. But at the end of the day, I'm really, really, really nervous about what the hell Congress is doing to hold these fools accountable for like the terror that they're unleashing all over America.
And if you had any doubts about the meeting, Sarah Sanders, as I call her, Sarah Suckaby, saying it was excellent and productive, and Trump looks forward to working together in a bipartisan way, maybe you want to vomit. And here's the thing. Here's what troubled me. Not talking infrastructure. Look, we had Margie, who's a trucker, call it. I've spoken to Congressman Mikey Sherrill from Jersey and the governor there who said we need infrastructure spending for the Gateway Tunnel. That's really important. I'm from Jersey. I get that. So I'm not upset with them talking infrastructure in the big picture. I'm upset they did it in their first day back after the Mueller report and have muddled the entire message being, here's the Mueller report, here's the crimes, Congress is back, we should be talking Bill Barr and Donald Trump's lawsuits. Another one this morning filed against Deutsche Bank not to let a duly drafted legal subpoena by Congress to get his returns. He's stonewalling, he's committed crimes, and instead of being the message, the lead story on even Fox and CNN at the same time was infrastructure discussion. $2 trillion. And I'm like, Chuck and Nancy know politics more than I will ever know it. And they knew what they were doing. And I don't know why they intentionally muddle the message.
Right. The message should have been, look, kid, you are up against the ropes right now. The Democrats, we have you up against the ropes. So we're going to roll up in here and we're going to get as much money as we need you to agree to fix America's crumbling roads and bridges. And by the way, I'm on Amtrak all the time and that tunnel is hanging on by a damn thread. Yep. The subways are hanging on. So the subways are hanging on by a thread. Literally, bridges are falling. So infrastructure is critical and important. The problem that I have, to your point, Dean, is all about the muddled message. These cats are standing around grinning and smiling as if like we're having some come to Jesus kumbaya going on. And the truth is that they should be rolled up in their burly saying, look, this is what we are getting for the American people who you are completely disrespecting and dismissing and trampling on. And we are doing this for the American people so that they walk out as heroines, right? They walk out as these heroes and we're like, yeah, they got trillions of dollars for bridges. You know, that's not what's happening. We're like, y'all fools went up in there and sipped tea. Right? Like that's the way it's coming off.
Because they're going to meet in 3 more weeks. First of all, the Senate Republicans are never going to agree to a massive $2 trillion spending bill. They're not going to do it. They won't have the 60 votes no matter what to stop debate. That won't happen. And Mick Mulvaney bluntly said, I don't think it's going to happen because we want massive rollbacks of environmental regulations so we can do this really quickly, and the Democrats will never agree to it. So we all know Trump is motivated by Trump, not America, nothing else, and giving red meat to his base. So in 3 weeks, he'll come back and say something like, and I want $1 billion for my wall, or some stupid thing like I have to give red meat. But I'm troubled in the bigger picture. And I know we need to talk about infrastructure, but it's not like there's the Democrats have the Senate and the House, and they make a deal, we know it's signed off. It's not. So it's not going to happen. I fear that we're out there saying Donald Trump is a white supremacist, a man who's emboldened terrorists, a man who is sexist, who's a bigot and he's a racist. And Chuck and Nancy are meeting like it's fine. So people who don't follow closely go, how bad could he be? Chuck and Nancy are meeting with him. They seem all smiles after a meeting. And I'm worried about that more subtle message coming out of this.
Yeah, and I'm also worried about how tone deaf it seems to be the agenda and quote unquote business as usual that's going on among the Democrats in the Congress. Because here's the thing. Infrastructure, you and I both know, is extremely critical. But we're going into 2020. And is that the number one issue that's come up for the base, is that we need to talk about infrastructure? This feels like it's completely coming out of left field. When we're having conversation about environmental issues, we can talk about criminal justice reform. We can talk about holding the president accountable. We can talk about health care. We can talk about a lot of stuff. They're in there smiling about a conversation that frankly isn't on the top of mind for Americans. So if that's what you're going to do for all of the leadership, look, maybe they're trying to be good leaders, but if that's what you're going to do, then you probably should prime the pump, right? Like you probably should talk to the base and get people actually excited about it. Because now we're wasting months of this dilly-dally around an infrastructure deal to nowhere. And it's not at all going to do anything to get people out in 2020 to come and vote.
And Nancy Pelosi's tweet, do I have it here still? I'll read it to you in a second. It's and we had a good faith discussion among progressives about should they meet or not. And I respect the position that they should. I really have no defense, though, of the timing of this. Like, if it was in a month from now, this is literally the first day back in Congress, literally the first full day since the Mueller report. All the media should have been about Democrats are primed and focused on holding Trump accountable and going through the crimes that Robert Mueller outlined. And that's completely muddled by them. And I have to believe it's intentional. They know politics too well. And the New York Times reported this meeting was asked for by Nancy Pelosi.
By the way, we don't have the White House. So, let's not pretend that they know politics too well. They know 20 years ago what the white people sat around in rooms and said and did that they thought was their shtick, right? They know the old guard, middle of the roadway of kind of backroom deals where all the people on all the sides were just patting each other on the back and dicking the American people. But we are in a new day. And I think that is what is going to come to haunt Chuck and also is starting to haunt Nancy, right? She's experiencing
I'm going to primary Chuck Schumer. I'm right from here, folks.
Hey,
I'm not formally going to say it.
We're in New York right now.
Right. But so Nancy Pelosi tweets this. It's something you would have thought she would have said about Barack Obama. And I'm sure she said great things about Obama. I'm not saying why didn't you say this about Obama. But we are just days after a shooting at a synagogue by a white supremacist who Trump won't use the term white supremacist terrorism, who on Friday was defending Robert E. Lee, a man who owned slaves, and a man who's made the life of my community and countless other communities of color horrific. And she tweets, today Senator Schumer and I had a constructive meeting with the real Donald Trump, agreeing on a big and bold initiative to build the infrastructure of America. Who was that for? I mean, seriously. And some people made a point, like Margie's a truck driver, said the roads suck, I get it. And some people said this strategic to show America that if we win, we are going to focus on this and we're going to govern on this. I don't know you had to meet with Donald Trump to do that. That's my other point. I don't think you had to meet with him.
No, Dean, you're so right. I mean, here's the thing. When she says constructive, you mean constructing a whole lot of bullshit for Sarah Huckabee to go around and spin and lie about?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that's going to come out of this. And it's foolhardy for any of the Democrats to believe that going and sitting down in the White House is actually going to accomplish anything whatsoever. And they're going to actually end up looking like fools because the Democrats are going to deliver nothing. Here's the thing. There's an opportunity right now for the Democrats to deliver something. And it is accountability for Donald Trump, this administration, and some investigations that actually go far, much further than the Mueller report, that actually start to get to the devil of the details about who this cat is and what the administration is doing. They could actually deliver some facts and some findings, and they can do some investigation and perhaps deliver his head on a pike. I mean, they could do that. But instead, they're tinkering around the margins around something that's actually not going to be resolved. Nothing's going to pass through Congress. So when we get to 2020, what are they going to say they've done with this Congress? Nothing. But try to hold but try to essentially back end censure Ilhan Omar. That's like the only thing that they've done? Give me a break.
They passed House bills, but they don't go anywhere. And they said, I understand, and I think that's a good idea, the House bills. And they had a hearing today on Medicare for All. This is important. That's how you build, I think, the foundation to show America, look what we've done with this one chamber of Congress. We passed a bill on voter rights. We've passed a bill, right? I mean, HR 1 had a long list of things that progressives really think are very, very important. And I think most Americans agree, actually, they're very important. So that's the good stuff. I don't get meeting with Trump. I'm not going to belabor it.
Dean, though?
What?
Right? But that's to your point.
No, the 2020 candidates are going to define what the Democratic Party is about. We all know that. The platforms mean nothing. And I want to get your reaction to Stacey Abrams today. I want to play we'll play a minute of her video. It goes on from here, folks. I'm just going to play the first 55 seconds of it. Clip number 3.
Hello, I'm Stacey Abrams. Public service has been a calling for me as long as I can remember. Whether in elected office or as an active citizen, I believe we are required to find solutions to our most intractable problems and to use our skills to expand opportunity for all. The Senate provides a singular platform from which to address the issues of access to justice, economic security, healthcare, and restoring the integrity of our nation's democracy. However, I am announcing today that I will not be a candidate for the United States Senate. I am so grateful for all of the support and encouragement I've received, from fellow Georgians to leaders of Congress and beyond. However, the fights to be waged require a deep commitment to the job, and I do not see the U.S. Senate as the best role for me in this battle for our nation's future. But let's be clear, I will do everything in my power to ensure Georgia elects a Democrat to the United States Senate in 2020.
It went on from there, but I want to play the heart of what was going on. What was were you surprised? Because I really thought she was going to take on David Perdue, and I thought she had a really good shot to beat him.
No, Stacey Abrams has said time and time again that she actually wanted to be governor.
Right.
She had focused for many years on her service in Georgia, on being governor. She's actually talked about this a lot, and she said, I'm not a politician because I just want to throw my hat at whatever sticks. I actually had a job I had planned for many years, had my eyes on the prize, and didn't quite get it. So, no, I feel like Stacey Abrams would be bored to death if she went to the United States Senate. She spent so long fighting the hard fights in the Georgia legislature, going to another legislature, a bigger legislature, to keep fighting and, for the sake of fighting in perpetuity. Not her jam. She wants to lead. She wants to govern. She wants to get things done. And certainly that, to me, is an executive role. It is not a legislative role. So I'm not shocked at all that she's not going to do it.
And that's a lot of insight that I didn't know how much. I knew she was the minority leader of the House there, and so it worked in state government. And as opposed, as a breath of fresh air from the typical politician, which just move up and help yourself. And she didn't, when I was at Reverend Al's National Action Network conference, so many Democrats came. It was remarkable what came. No one got a bigger response than Stacey Abrams. Yeah. When she came on stage, boom, better than anyone, better than anyone, better than Senator Harris, better than Bernie or Beto. And Beto got some really good applause. And Senator Harris got some really good applause at certain points. But Stacey got the best. Yeah. It was rocking. Now, I didn't see Cory Booker, and I heard he did great. The next, I missed him. He came Friday afternoon, and I had to come back to prayer for the show. So I heard from people who were there who said he killed it too. But she killed it.
The other thing, too, is that Stacey Abrams knows her worth and her value. And she has never been in a position. She was the minority leader of the Georgia State Legislature, all because of her. Not because some white people anointed her and told her, hey, we want you to be it. And in fact, when she went to run for governor, it was another Stacey who the white establishment said, oh, well, we're going to go ahead and back this woman who is marginal at best, and not back Stacey, even though she had clawed her way into leadership. So I think it's also a thing, too, where Chuck, had been having conversations with her, trying to twist her arm to get her to do it. Chuck Schumer was trying to get her to do it for the sake of the Democrats. And what does she have to gain for that? She's not going to be bullied by some establishment Democrats in order to try to get them a seat or try to achieve the agenda that they have. She's actually focused on her own career where she has value and she knows her worth, and it is far bigger than Chuck's agenda.
White people, what are you doing? Now, here, by the way, earlier, 23andMe is a sponsor of our show, and I'm not doing a commercial for them now. I did it before, but I got my results. Ooh. And it turns out I am almost 60% Northern African and Western Asian, and that's Arab countries. And only 38% European, which I'm an all Sicilian, Southern Sicilian. So I am there. I am part of the African American struggle. At least my ancestors were. I'm even 1.5% Sub-Saharan, Sudanese and Congolese. But that's really that's if you see the map. But really, my family at one point was in Egypt generations ago. Many. That's where the Northern Africa comes in, and then the rest are Arab. So Yeah, that's right. I'm ready. I don't know what to do now with it, but I'm actually excited about my results because my parents were right. They did not lie. It's funny. The Arabs moved around a little bit. The Italians just stayed in southern Italy. They were born in Sicily.
Why would you leave southern Italy, by the way?
Sicily,
Because it's kind of just,
on the
beautiful.
island. It's nice.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's take a break. When we come back, I want to talk about the attempted smear of Pete Buttigieg, as well as the new polls that came out, CNN and Quinnipiac, that came out just a short time ago on the 2020 race, and get your take on what we're seeing here, and do you think it will last or not? So let's take a break, come back with more of our friend Aisha Moodie-Mills right after this. At this point, the question is not who connected to Donald Trump as a criminal. The question is anyone connected to Donald Trump who's not a criminal?
The Dean Obeidallah Show. SiriusXM Progress. And now, more of the Dean Obeidallah Show on SiriusXM's Progress.
And welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live here with Aisha Moodie-Mills. So, Aisha, there was a Daily Beast got an exclusive, and now it's all over the place, though, that the mayor of South Bend, Pete Buttigieg, that these Republican scumbags that they are, Jacob Wall, W-O-H-L, another guy, Jack Berkman, tried to convince someone, a young gay man, to come out and falsely accuse Pete Buttigieg of sexually assaulting them, of him. And they even made their own fake account, Real Hunter Kelly, and tweeted it out that they were sexually assaulted, that he was sexually assaulted. Because Hunter Kelly's really a person, is a young gay man. And even Jacob Wall's father, David Wall, who's like better known, even helped elevate this story. And it came out, it was completely untrue. Hunter Kelly said, I went to bed and woke up to a fake Twitter account in an article that I in no way endorsed or wrote, it's important for everyone to know that I was not sexually assaulted, would never falsely accuse anyone of that. What is going on that they went after Buttigieg? And according to the Daily Beast reporting, these two Republicans thought Buttigieg was really a threat to Trump, a great threat, even if he can't beat him. But the idea that he was going to show, I guess their concern was he was going to be able to lead the LGBT community. Anyone who was thinking that Trump is still a good guy, not to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a little deeper than that. So first of all, what's going on here is that this is Republican playbook 101. They've always been dirty bastards. This is the thing that they do, right? Like they have always done this. Now, luckily, now some of these things are starting to come to light, but this is like basic like lies, deceit, voter suppression. Their tactic is always to create lies, to create dissension, to create smear campaigns, and to get people being doubtful. That's their shtick. Republicans have never had campaigns that are about inspiring. They're always about creating some kind of discord as a way for them to get in. So this is like basic stuff. You know, the thing that I think is the real threat, and why they are right to be alarmed about Pete Buttigieg is that he is the only person in the field who is appealing to a real deep faith-based value set. I don't know when the Democrats abandoned their Christianity and like that whole like, thing. It used to be God used to be everything to everybody, right? Now, I should say Anglo-Saxon white Christian God used to be everything to everybody.
Right.
Now, if you look at this entire field, Pete, for the most part, maybe Cory Booker, he's all love and stuff, but Pete is the one who came smack dab out and said, look, I am a Christian. I am a person of faith. These are my values and what we stand for. I think that what he has done that is really a threat to Republicans is he is reminding people that Donald Trump is the devil. And that Donald Trump doesn't reflect those good, decent, Christian, conservative values that used to be the bread and butter of the Republican Party. And if you have somebody who's reminding us, because right now we've been gaslighted, all the crazy and the smoke and mirrors, even the Republicans forgot what the hell they stood for. They forgot that God mattered. The evangelicals are a bunch of hypocrites.
Yep.
But when you get someone like Pete, who's a nice Midwestern dude, speaking to that truth, it's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I forgot this guy has 3 wives and, multiple children, that he grabbed them by the, whatever, that he hates women, that he's just like a bastard, that he's doing all these horrible things, that he's imprisoning children, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's the threat to me. I think it's, at this point, all the millennials, everybody under 40 who's Republican could kind of give a damn about same-sex marriage. It's like over, we won, move on, right? So it's not the gay thing. I believe that it is the faith and values thing. And Pete is the only dude who's taken that head on.
So that it scared him to the point to actually want to commit a crime by falsely accusing someone of a crime. And it's remarkable how scummy, but this guy Jacob Wall is just horrible. And
dirtbag.
And I imagine between now and the end, when this is all over, November 3rd, 2020, that night, and I hope it ends that night and we have a Democratic president-elect, that I think we might see things we can't even sit here and contemplate and expect, because Trump will do anything to stay in power. Absolutely anything. I'm watching images of Venezuela and worrying that, are we going to see something like that as we get closer? Or when he loses, that I'm not leaving type of attitude. And I'm really, and I don't like to say stuff that sounds insane and to scare people. I'm not trying to do that. I'm just telling people you have to be aware and prepared for anything, because we don't know. If anyone would have said a guy was going to run for president and call for a complete ban on Muslims, like, get out of here.
It's ridiculous.
And the guy wins. 65% of GOP base is all on board of that. Defend white supremacy is fine people, and retweet white genocide, that name during the campaign. And when asked, do you denounce David Duke? He goes, I don't even know who this David Duke is. All the stuff, you go through the list and you're like, no one would do that. Nor could they actually win, of course. And sure enough, he did all of this. So who knows what's next?
Well, and now let's also be reminded that it is very clear that the FBI has said, the Department of Justice has acknowledged that this dude is an illegitimate president. He did not win on his own bona fide campaigning. There literally were outside forces, our enemies. Literally, this is a cyber war that's happening. Our enemies in Russia put this guy in place. Literally, their way of nation building, right? Of disrupting democracy. And so now that we know that we also have an illegitimate guy in the White House, what are we doing about it? And why aren't we having conversations about it? Because the instability of democracy is when we turn our heads and pretend like nothing's going on in our democracy. That's why we're able to, that's when you get countries that end up in a bad place where, a terrorist takes over, because the good people just kind of sit idly by and like nod and smile while the bad things are happening.
So is that why Democrats right now, what would you like Democrats? They just came back from a break for about 2 weeks. They're back in session right now. They're going to have the Bill Barr testimony. By the way, does Bill Barr testimony mean anything to you on any level whatsoever?
Falling asleep. No, it doesn't mean a damn thing. Unless the Democrats in the House are prepared to literally impeach most of the cabinet, to literally throw in jail all the administrative officials who are blocking for the president, refusing to provide what they're being asked to provide, refusing to testify, unless they're prepared to actually have some kind of like action behind their threats, then none of this stuff means anything. Like, what are they going to do with it, right? Like, I wonder, maybe in the grand scheme of things, Congress thinks that it's setting up a situation where once Trump leaves, then the courts can prosecute him. Maybe they think that the Southern District of New York will benefit from some of the stuff that they're finding. Maybe there'll be some civil suits which actually get this guy in a way that's meaningful. I don't know, but that's frankly not Congress's job. Congress's job is to protect our democracy, and I don't think that they're doing it. And I frankly think that they're a bunch of wimps and that they're scared of what it takes to actually protect and defend the democracy.
In the last 3 shows, I've had 4 members of Congress on from Thursday, Friday, and yesterday. I had on Congressman Kennedy, Gallego, Ro Khanna, and Mark Pocan. I asked them all, like, can we start impeachment Tuesday? And, and they laughed. I wasn't kidding. But I'm like...
And you had some progressives on, too.
So much. Real progressive. Ro and Mark are very, very progressive. Ruben's, they're both, the other ones are center left. I mean, Joe Kennedy, he's a young guy. He's just from an establishment family. But they all said the same thing. Even Pocan, who was for impeachment before, that I want to have a little bit... They've all said this, we want to have some hearings. They also said the same thing that Joe Biden said today, which is oddly, and I wonder if it's a coordinated message, that if Trump stonewalls us, he'll give us no option but to impeach him. Even Joe Kennedy said that. And I thought that was interesting to say that because...
Trump's been stonewalling the entire damn time he's been in office. This is stupid. This is just kicking the ball down, right? Like just kicking it. Like, what is it going to take to define Trump stonewalling? He's a liar. He's a bastard. He is putting us all at risk. Now we have a full-fledged report that shows that he's obstructed justice. What the hell is your definition of stonewalling? Right? Like, the Democrats are just scared. And I don't even know what they're scared of.
What am I missing?
I don't
know.
What
am I missing? It's not even, and it's this kind of folk tale, this myth that somehow the Republicans were punished in 1998 because they impeached Trump. And they impeached Bill Clinton. They won the presidency and 2 years later. And they went on to control the Senate and the House. Things move. And if you're doing it in a way that's not partisan, it's not over an affair with an intern, but it's over protecting the Constitution. And that's why we had on this show such a lively discussion, almost exclusively, not exclusively, I'm being fair, but almost exclusively people wanted impeachment hearings. Not a vote tomorrow, hearings under the guise of impeachment.
Yeah, so we can get to the facts.
Right. And at the end of the day, if they said, you know what, we have nothing more that's in the report and we don't have enough to draft articles of impeachment, if they had open hearings for the whole country to see, we would all have seen it together. We would experience it collectively and go like, you know what, I'm going to side with them. But I don't think there's any way to do that because the Mueller report's very clear that there's 2 crimes committed, witness intimidation, and you have obstruction of justice. To me, there's no doubt about that. And I think they have to. Someone's got to get the courage, more than just 1 member or 2 member, but like a whole swath to stand up and go, we're going to have impeachment hearings.
What's the worst that can happen, right? I keep trying to think of what the hell they're afraid of. Are they afraid that they're going to lose the House again? Well, they don't have the Senate, so shit's not getting done anyway, and they're not necessarily going to pick the Senate back up. I mean, there's a better chance now for the Democrats to pick up seats in the Senate than there was in 2018. But still, like, okay, well, oh my God, maybe we won't win the Senate too. That's BS. Oh my God, maybe we won't win the White House. Well, that's also a bit of BS. So I just don't understand what they see as like the threat or the consequence, frankly, because the vast majority of members of the Democratic Party will get reelected. There might be 18 or 20. Those seats are always in play. They're always in the balance. That's why it's a competitive House. So I just don't understand the cowardness, especially for all these people who pump out their chests and talk tough. Chuck Schumer aside, I don't know what the hell happened to Chuck Schumer. He used to be our like bravado hero. He used to really.
I don't remember that. I'm not against.
True story.
Not disputing. I just don't remember that. That's all.
Back when in 2002 and 3, I worked for the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, and I remember Chuck Schumer as this kind of hawk. He used to, him and Ted Kennedy felt like the guys who would wrangle people and be a bit of a conscience and like, kind of bang people down over what was right. And now I don't know what the hell his deal is. Maybe he's just old and needs to go. But I don't understand Pelosi. She is so thoughtful and calculated and deft in the way that she operates, and I just don't know what she's afraid of. So the only thing that I can just, this is a conspiracy, guys. Don't quote as fact, but a little fun conspiracy. I wonder what Trump has on people. I wonder why this guy is Teflon Don. I wonder why people don't just take him to task. I just don't understand it. Like, why? What do you have to lose, Nancy Pelosi from the Bay? Like, what the hell do you have to lose going after Donald Trump? I don't know. I just don't get it.
And the Democratic base, clearly 62 to 70% want impeachment. And not an up and down vote tomorrow, but they want this. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, we all work so hard. And I've had people call in the first hour who said, the idea, we all work so hard, we want the Democrats to have the House to be accountable. And if they're not going to do that, if they're not going to hold them accountable, why did I work hard? Why did all of us work hard? And even some have suggested, I don't think they're going to fulfill this, I'm not going to get involved in 2020. They're going to because Trump is such a threat. But if it wasn't for Trump, it was just a normal Republican, I think people really would check out. And that's the thing. And the DCCC is more concerned with protecting incumbents by saying they're blacklisting you. Did you see that? They're going to blacklist anyone, consultants who work with primary incumbent Democrats. And that's like
Sherry
old school
Bustos
Republic.
is supposed to be meeting with the progressives who are pissed off about this.
And I've talked to Mark Pocan and others and Ro Khanna who said that I mentioned that before the shooting, another day, another mass shooting in America, and this administration will do nothing about it because we're acceptable losses because he desperately needs the NRA. And today Donald Trump said the NRA's got to get their act together.
You see all that drama going on at the NRA, though?
I love that, but I don't like people who are dying for gun violence and we don't do nothing about it. All right,
let's take them down.
Let's take a break and come back and talk about Biden today. I want to play a quick clip and also about this new polling and what this means to you. Aisha Moodie-Mills is not buying the polling, folks. We're going to come back. She'll break down exactly why when we come back after this break.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
My slogan for Trump in 2020, Trump for prison 2020.
SiriusXM Progress.
to the Dean Obeidallah Show on SiriusXM Progress.
And welcome back to the Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live right here Tuesday, April 30th. So, some breaking news, but first, let me ask you, folks, are your credit card bills keeping you up at night? Interest rates in double digits? Well, I'm proud to say we have a new sponsor, Lightstream. It's a division of SunTrust Bank, the big bank, and they can help you deal with credit card consolidation loans, and they start as low as 5.95% with autopay. You can save thousands in interest. You get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000, and here's the best part. There's no fees. It's a part of SunTrust Bank. They're not charging fees. This is a division of it. And one of the nation's largest financial institutions, SunTrust, so you have complete peace of mind. And guess what? They're offering my listeners an additional interest rate discount. That's right, an additional interest rate discount because you listen to the show. All you have to do is go to lightstream.com/Dean. That's LIGHT, as in the word light, stream, it's in the river kind of stream, STREAM.com/Dean. Got to use the /Dean. Again, check it out here. If you got credit card debts, this is the great place. Credit card consolidation loan starting at 5.95% with autopay. And as a reminder, you're subject to credit approval, of course. The rate includes 50% autopay discount. Terms and conditions apply, subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Dean for more information. It's always nice to have a new sponsor, so the show continues on. So, Aisha, breaking news, folks. Breaking news just came out, and I'm so thankful. Aisha, I was just saying to her, thankful that this is going to step on the stupid infrastructure and get us back to the real thing. Mueller complained to Barr, this is brand new, in the Washington Post, that his letter summarizing the Mueller report, 4 pages, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of Mueller's work. This letter was sent on March 27th. Barr has not told us about this letter from Robert Mueller. Nope. He hid this. Barr, people joked about impeaching him or dreamed of it. This guy is bad news, Bill Barr, to hide this. And it goes on. And Danny Savalas is coming up the next hour with a lawyer, so we'll print it out and read it more, Aisha. But I am happy. And Mueller wrote in his letter, there is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation. This is a stunning line.
Say that again.
There is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation. This threatens to undermine a central purpose for which the department appointed the special counsel. This is remarkable. He's saying, Bill Barr, you lied to the American people. You misled the American people until the report came out. So when the report came out, public opinion did not break the way it should have because most people are not going to read a 400-page report. They saw summaries. They heard Barr go, it's bad, but everyone's like, Trump is bad already, I know. There were crimes, and Mueller's got to testify point blank.
Yep.
What he found that are actual
crimes.
There's
no reason now for Congress not to pursue a very, very, very deep impeachment-esque investigation into what the hell really went down. Because now we know that the way the report has been presented to the public is a lie, and it fails to capture the fact that the president is a fraud and a lie and possibly a criminal. And it is Congress's job to actually unearth that and give us the real deal. So while we're talking about, infrastructure, we can do 2 things, Dean. We can actually chew gum and walk. That's like we can chew gum and walk. We totally can.
I've never tried to do
Get
that,
some money to fix that damn tunnel coming out of New York and New Jersey so that I can take the train on time. And then also, at the same time, figure out, how we're going to get the president thrown in jail.
I'm not being rude to you. I'm reading this while you're speaking to me. I'm
listening
to you.
No.
I'm chewing gum. I'm reading and listening at the same time. And it's so funny. Somebody emailed me and said, stop saying chew gum and walk at the same time earlier in the show. Because it's not the most overused cliche in the world. And I don't even know who does walk. Anyone can walk and chew gum. It's never been. Did you ever see someone stop walking? Like, what are you doing? I'm chewing gum. That doesn't happen. Everybody walks and chew gum. There's nothing impressive about walking and chewing gum. You know what's impressive? Prosecuting a criminal president. That is
impressive.
Now, I want to go, and I don't know the answer to this because I'm literally reading while you're speaking. Bill Barr testified before Congress. I'm sure they asked him, did Robert Mueller send you any letters? Did he communicate any objections or approval of what you said to the American people? I'm sure Barr was asked it. I don't remember his answers.
Why are we so sure that Barr was asked that? That's given a lot of faith to this question.
Now, Barr's supposed to go tomorrow before the Senate Judiciary. Tomorrow's the Senate, which is all like Republican-controlled, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of questions there. And then Thursday...
Kamala's there. There's a lot of people there.
Yeah, and Corey's there. You got presidential candidates.
This is good for their candidates.
So that's going to be really interesting. This is remarkable, though, isn't it? I mean, it gets us back to what the issue should be right now. And both CNN and MSNBC are very excited while Fox News is talking about teen suicide rates. I'm not kidding. So they're not even talking about the real issue. Let me ask you about polls. I'm not even kidding.
I see this.
This is what I see every night.
I mean,
watch.
This is bonkers.
Well, the bias in between the two networks, story selection is a big part of the bias. It's not just the reporting on the stories. It's watching CNN and MS lead with stories and Fox News bury it or not even report it. So their viewers don't even know. Now, this will trickle out, and I'm sure they'll discount. They don't care. But let me ask you about the two polls that came out today. And one made headlines earlier in the day, CNN poll showing, according to this poll, that Joe Biden jumped after his announcement, which is expecting a bounce after your announcement. But according to CNN today, the poll, Biden's up from 39% to 39% from 28% from last month. What's your reaction to this poll?
My reaction is that it's really early, is that these polls are generally trash. Remember, Hillary Clinton was going to win. So that's what I feel about polls. Also, I have grave concerns about the CNN poll that's being passed off as like, the God in the moment, because according to the devil of the details, if you look at like page 39 of that poll, it shows
Everyone
that
turn to page 39 now.
Everybody turn to page 39 of the CNN poll. You can just find it on their website. Nobody under 50 was polled.
That's bizarre.
Who the hell are they talking to?
That makes no sense.
So if the poll comes out and it says black women trust Joe Biden, what black women? Because nobody asked me, and I can tell you that the black community and certainly black women are not monolithic. And sure, black women from a Clinton era or an over 50 group of black women might cut a certain way on the type of old school retail politician that Joe Biden is. But I can assure you that there are a lot of younger voters who don't necessarily see things that way. And so I would just implore us to consider that the polls are really about name recognition in the moment when the 100,000 people get a phone call. And the question is, who are actually they reaching with that phone call, right? What is the population here? And then it's really, really, really early, and this is name recognition. So, of course, Joe Biden, remember, Liz Warren was up in the polls and dominating the news cycle because she launched first, right?
Exactly.
It happens that way. And I would not read a ton into it. But I will say this. Let me give Joe Biden's team some credit because he's got some really great people on his team. They are running already a great campaign. He's been building this up for months now. And everything that he's done in terms of the videos that he's released, the people that he's brought on board, the way that he's already building up his surrogacy pool, it's just smart campaigning. The guy's run for president twice before and failed. Maybe this time is a charm. Who knows?
Maybe
but he certainly knows what he's doing.
He may have learned from President Obama.
Running
part
so.
of the Obama for 2 cycles, being part of that team, obviously.
Yeah.
But polls to me are not snapshots of polls. I beg people do not put too much weight into any poll. But look at trends. And a Quinnipiac poll came out a couple of hours ago, and that's really good methodology. It gets like an A rating from 538. And again, it shows Biden leading. But what I found interesting, both polls, CNN and Quinnipiac, show Bernie is slipping and Warren up. And in the Quinnipiac poll that just came out a couple of hours ago, Elizabeth Warren is in second place now.
Yeah.
Eclipsing. So are you surprised at all that she's eclipsing Bernie? And this is, again, one poll. I don't want to make a big deal. But in CNN, you see that trend too there.
This trend stuff flows with the news cycle. And so much of what you talk about, Dean, and what I talk about is the fact that the news cycle is in of itself trash sometimes, right?
Sure.
We're watching it around us right now. It's not surprising. So Elizabeth Warren, in full disclosure, is the person that I am most jazzed about right now. She's also coming off of the heels of last Wednesday, where there was a presidential forum called She the People that was specifically with women of color who were asking presidential candidates, what are you going to do about the issues that we care about? Liz Warren knocked it out of the box. She has such amazing and deep analysis around racial disparities, around structural racism. And she had some real concrete plans about how she was going to address infant mortality rates of black women, how she was going to actually deal with issues that black women deeply cared about. And then she publicized those plans. Bernie Sanders, on the other hand, looked like a complete fool. He got booze. He is so inept at having any conversation that specifically addresses race or identity, period, other than his economic trope, which is really about white working class people. And he came off looking flat and looking like a fool, and the press regarded it that way. So It was all, oh my God, Elizabeth Warren just won this debate, and Bernie Sanders completely failed it. So it's not a surprise that the polls reflect that.
But when I went to Reverend Al Sharpton's event and Bernie spoke and Liz Warren spoke and others, Bernie got a great reaction. There was no question and answer, but his speech did really well, and he was the only one that went after Trump. And I wrote about it. He said his policy stuff, they were cheers, and he goes, and I just have to say it, Donald Trump is a racist. And the place exploded because no one else went after Trump. And I think that our communities, every community that suffered under Trump,
falling asleep,
wants you, but they want you to acknowledge what we've been through. That audience knows Trump's a racist, but they want to hear it. People say it.
So here's
but
the
Liz
thing.
Warren,
It's more than that, though.
Quick thing though, Reverend Al, when he introduced Liz Warren, I remember this vividly. He said, "Nobody has called me more over the years to talk about the issues than our next person, Liz Warren." And I'd heard that before, that she's for years have been talking to leaders in the African American community, speaking to people, not just leaders. And there was Reverend Al introducing her like that in an organic way, and she did great. They loved universal child care. I spoke to people afterwards. They loved her talk about criminal justice reform, but so many people like universal child care because it touches their lives. I don't have kids, and they explained to me why it was so important.
And she also expresses empathy, right? So Liz Warren says, I completely understand what you're going through, and I've been thinking about this, and I understand that it's unique to you. The other guys, I mean, particularly Bernie Sanders, who I have nothing good to say about in terms of his conversation on race.
I'm going to get emails.
But also, look, tweet me, text me, I don't care. Beto O'Rourke, too. All the euphemisms and the lip service, and just because you can like raise your hands and shake them the loudest and say the word racist doesn't make you woke. And that's the problem that I have with some of these folks. Like, obviously racism is bad. Obviously Trump's a racist. I do not believe that Democrats are so simple-minded that they just simply are going to clap and cheer and nod because someone acknowledges the president's racist. At this point, we need real solutions to that racism, and that's what people are going to be looking to see. And I think that Bernie doesn't really have an answer to that. Beto O'Rourke is also full of like a bunch of euphemisms and just kind of, like says, oh yeah, this is a problem, but doesn't really have any analysis around it. Last thing I'll say is that the old trope, right, civil rights trope of I marched with Martin is so dead. It's so dead. 250,000 something people.
Bernie said
250,000 people showed up at the March on Washington. Right? Okay. And you were in the number. So in a 40-year career, what have you done to change the life outcomes for black people? That is the question that we all should be asking.
So what you want of the candidates and the demand of the candidates is not just words about nice platitudes and nice rhetoric that make you feel good, but give me detailed policy that are going to change my life.
Exactly. I mean, I appreciate Joe Biden saying Trump's a racist and I'm not, and I'm going to push back against racists. That's the bare damn minimum, Dean. Literally, like, especially for white men, you do not get a pat on the head because you acknowledge that something is racist. The bare minimum for any candidate should be a complete and total rejection of white supremacy. Now, what are you going to do to address the structural discrimination that has literally created a situation of race-based haves and have-nots in this country? That's what I want to talk about.
And who has addressed that for you?
Elizabeth Warren.
And she has.
She's got lots of plans.
She has amazing policies. I agree.
She has plans, and she has very deep analysis. I mean, even for her to acknowledge, she's like, all this stuff that's happening around, like, women and all this infant mortality stuff and, like, women, what's happening in hospitals. She says it. She says every single study that I read, the there is that the doctors have prejudice. If we don't acknowledge prejudice, you can tinker with whatever data you want to tinker with, right? But then she said, I'm going to hold the hospitals accountable for that, and I'm going to hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook. She has a whole plan for this. She talked about it. She wrote about it. You can just Google it, find out Elizabeth Warren's plan on it.
She has policy for everything.
But,
I agree with you 100%.
But she understands that there's the history of America is that black people, immigrants, brown immigrants in particular, have been systematically and through policy disadvantaged, disenfranchised, and really thwarted in our ability to thrive. So she understands in order to undo that, we're going to have to undo the structural isms that created it, and that those are race-based. That's a deep conversation. So when Reverend Al says, you know what, Liz Warren's actually called me to kind of talk about some things.
She called me more than anyone. That's what he said before he introduced her. That was a
Bernie
remarkable
Sanders
comment.
Doesn't give a damn about race. He just thinks that it's all just workers against the 1%. So of course he's not going to call Reverend Al and ask him for his thoughts and help him.
Well, Pete Buttigieg just had lunch with Reverend Al.
Oh, God.
Sylvia, let's take a break. We'll come back with more of the Dean Obadala Show right after this.
Dean Obadala Show on Sirius XM Progress 127. Dean Obadala Show on Sirius XM Progress 127. You've heard Dean's thoughts. Now it's your turn. 866-99-SIRIUS. 866-997-4748. This is the Dean Obadala Show
on Sirius XM Progress 127.
And welcome back, Dean Obadala Show. We're here with our friend Aisha Moodie-Mills. So, Aisha, we got like a minute and a half left. What do you say? Because there are some Democrats, they called earlier, they're on Twitter as well, the idea that with the establishment Democrats not doing impeachment, having meetings with Donald Trump, that it dampens their enthusiasm. This is going to come up for all different reasons. My candidate didn't win. Any idea from your experience working on campaigns, working on grassroots activism, how do we keep our base animated and engaged so no one checks out between now and November 3rd, 2020? After we take out Trump, if you want to check out, you can, but I hope you don't, because I want to hold Democrats accountable. I get crap from people. Why are you bashing Democrats? Because I'm a progressive. And I'm going to hold Democrats accountable because I'm a progressive. What do you do? We got like 50 seconds. Any suggestions?
The vice president's going to matter if it's a white man. It's going to matter. If it's Joe Biden, I think it needs to be Andrew Gillum. It needs to be Stacey Abrams, maybe Kamala. Andrew's going to bring Florida, and that's meaningful and big. The candidates matter. We are not going to get people excited, and just going to be the same case with Hillary and like Tim Kaine. Who the hell is that, right? Like, what in the world was that pick even about? No one even knows. You're not going to get the base jazzed up if you don't bring somebody to the ticket that's going to create enthusiasm, and that's just the real.
My friend Aisha, thank you so much for coming in for this hour. You see her all the time on MS. Literally, she was on MS right before she came in here. And people on Twitter can follow her. Please follow her on Aisha Moodie-Mills. Is that
Aisha Moodie-Mills?
Aisha Moodie-Mills. Coming up next, Danny Savalas from MSNBC. Perfect timing. We got the breaking news, Washington Post, about Mueller sent a letter to Bill Barr saying, I don't like your summary. Context nature is wrong. Danny will break it down right after this.
This is your weekly investigation into all things legal. This is Law and Disorder on the Dean Obeidallah Show.
And welcome back, Dean Obeidallah Show. We're live right here. Our friend Danny Savalas, the perfect guest for what's going on in the breaking news. MSNBC legal analyst, all-around good guy. And Danny, he's walking in the studio. I'm like, did you see the breaking news? And he's like, no. So he's actually reading it. It's like the Mueller report, except it's 431 pages less, shorter or something.
That's right. And I got to tell you, Dean, news often breaks on your show.
That's my show's about that.
It is. And I find that I'm often woefully unprepared because it breaks as we're on the show.
I'm the Wolf Blitzer of Sirius XM. In fact, I met Wolf Blitzer at the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Delightful man, isn't he?
And I didn't know he was real. I'm like, you're alive. I thought he was a Muppet. I thought they wake him like he sleeps in a box and they wake up the wolf monster and he comes out and then whatever. I think I didn't know he was alive still. I thought he died years ago. But
he has boundless energy, and he is the nicest man. He is a mensch, as they say.
He's a mensch. He seemed. I meant it for a second. In any event, let's talk about the real news here. Breaking news. It's everywhere, folks, except for on Fox News, of course. I'm not even kidding. That Robert Mueller wrote a letter in late March. I'm literally reading the breaking news that came out at 7:16 p.m. Eastern Time in Washington Post. That Mueller wrote a letter in late March, March 27th to be exact, to Bill Barr, that his 4-page memo to Congress describing the principal conclusions of the investigation did not, quote, did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of Mueller's work. And the letter was reviewed by the Post. We don't have the letter. That's what's going on. It adds here the summary letter the department sent to Congress and released to the public late in the afternoon of March 24th did not fully capture the context, nature, and substance of this office's works and conclusion, adding, there is now public confusion about critical aspects of the results of our investigation. This threatens to undermine a central purpose for which the department appointed the special counsel. So, Danny, we don't have the letter. We're reading parts of the letter. We're reading a letter about the Mueller letter, sort of like the Barr thing. Now, by the way, March 27th is when Mueller sent this letter to remind everybody on April 9th, Bill Barr testified before the House Appropriations Committee. And the focus of that was not the Mueller